welcome to the first official episode of the Fishbowl Podcast. I'm Remy.
And I'm Hannah. And we're going to talk to you about things.
Yes. And the episode today is about things that don't make sense. And we each have two things to share.
So I'm going to talk about traffic and national debt. Debt that countries have. Countries that owe money. And Remy is going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about bulletproof glass, who she is, what she does, why is she called that, and dying of natural causes.
Very interesting stuff. We hope you're excited, because we are. And guess what we have with us today? Not cups. Remy, go ahead.
Here's my knot cup. It's a miniature jam jar that I got on
Very
a plane or
cute.
something. And it's very
It's like a big jam jar, but smaller.
It's all gone.
I hope you don't get thirsty during this, because you won't have anything to drink. Mine is a little mini trash can. We have a theme here, mini things. I didn't even notice.
We didn't even notice.
Things
that are usually bigger.
Things. Telepathy right there. Things that are usually bigger, but now are small. We hope that your knot cup is a thing that's usually big but not small, and we hope you brought one, because we want to share our knot cups with you, and now it's time for you to share your knot cup with us. Go ahead. Okay, thanks for sharing. So mine is a little trash can, and it opens like this, and all the water is inside. You can't really see it. There's water in there, I promise, and you can just sip it, but it's kind of awkward to sip because of this, like... Anyway, if I get thirsty, that's right there. Really cool. So starting off will be Remy with her info on...
Bulletproof glass.
Bulletproof glass.
Okay.
There we go.
So when you first hear... when you first hear bulletproof glass...
Yes.
You think, this is glass that is bulletproof, as the title would suggest. Turns out, this is incorrect. Number one, it's not bulletproof. It isn't impenetrable, and it's what it wants to do, right? It wants to be cool, it wants to be like the cool kids. It wants, when a bullet to come hit it, it wants to spread out the damage so it's not as impactful in one spot. And then, so it doesn't shatter.
Because normally, if you had a bullet and you had some glass, it would go,
pa-chow,
wow, and then everything would go, not like an explosion, but like a...
But it doesn't want to do that. It wants to lessen the impact. So it's not bulletproof, but bullet resistance. Because it's actually bullet resistant, not bullet resistance. That's what it is. But if you shoot it a couple times, it is not gonna stand up as well as if something was bulletproof. Like if that was a real thing. There's a real thing as bulletproof glass.
So you could shoot it a few times, and maybe the bullet would go through.
Yeah, eventually. It might eventually break and crack and everything.
Right.
Also, big shocker here, it's not glass.
Yes,
it's
it is.
Plastic.
It's bulletproof glass. What is this?
It's plastic.
Plastic? Who decided it would be a good idea to lie about it?
I don't know. I think they didn't mean to lie to us. Because, sure, it's not bulletproof, and sure, it's not glass. Those are lies. But they weren't trying to lie to us in the way that, like, oh, we're tricking you, it's bulletproof glass. It's more concise that way. It's easier to be like, this is something that we use in front of glass, and bullets can't get through it. Let's just call it bulletproof glass, rather than be like bullet-resistant plastic, which is what it really is.
Right.
There are a bunch of layers of plastic like this. Mm-hmm. And if you take the top layer and just the bullet hits through it, it might get a little dent or something. But the other layers are there to spread out the damage to lessen the impact so it doesn't actually shatter and crack, which is what glass would do if you hit it with a bullet.
That is, but would plastic do that? What does plastic do when you hit it?
I don't know. I haven't hit plastic with bullets. I feel like if it was thin, it would like go through. It wouldn't shatter necessarily.
Right, but it would go through. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because glass shatters.
But it's not shattering because it's not glass. It wouldn't shatter anyway. So why does the shatter need to be dispersed if it's plastic?
Because it would go through. It's about the
would go
energy
through.
dispersing. It's
Right.
not actually about the shattering. But that's what happens when a bullet goes through something, like glass, it will shatter. But that's the secondary
Yes.
thing. The bullet going through the thing, that's the actual problem, not the shattering.
Yes.
So if it's
that is a
plastic,
problem sometimes, yeah.
the bullet will go through it,
Yeah.
but it won't shatter just because it's not glass. But it doesn't want it to go through it either.
So
by
if there
dispersing
was-
the energy.
If there was someone shooting multiple times at some bulletproof glass, and you were like behind it, it's basically just kind of like, it lets you have a little bit more time, you know? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, someone's shooting, maybe I'll move.
Like maybe, because
Instead of
if
like
you're
a
sitting
bam, oh,
if
I'm
you're in a
dead
normal
now.
car, or like in a normal house, and someone shoots through the window, and shoots you, right? If that were to happen.
Then that would be problematic, so don't
You
let
have
them do
no
that.
warning. You have no
Yeah.
warning. The gun, the bullet is already in you by the time you know that the bullet is there. So, with bulletproof glass, you get a couple of seconds to think, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Yeah, so in conclusion, it's bullet-resistant plastic, and it works because it disperses energy. I would like to teach everybody about traffic. And to do so, I've conducted a little presentation, a little PowerPoint, because sometimes you need visuals, you know? We've been speaking for a bit, and your eyes are probably, like, really annoyed at having to look at us for this long. So I'm going to give you something else to look at. I made a presentation, so I'm going to show that. Alright, anyway, so I'm going to show this presentation. This presentation is called Traffic Don't Make Sense. It really don't. Because it don't. And we need to talk about it. Basically, picture this scenario. You're just chilling at home on the sofa, having a little relaxed time, and your cool uncle comes in, and he's like, it's me, your super hip uncle, we need milk, because he's just been eating his cereal, and there's no milk, he needs some milk, so he's like, go get milk. And you're like, okay, I'm not gonna argue with you, and I like to go to the supermarket because that's exciting. So you go hop in your car, you're like, la 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 la, and you zoom off, you zoom away. You're just rolling along through the streets, going like, burr, 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 burr. Tunes playing, blasting loud. And then all of a sudden, there's this car in front of you and it's not moving. You're like, that's dumb. Don't do that. But then you look in front of that car and there's another car. And then there's another car and another car and another car and another car. So many cars. And then in front of the front car, there's a light. And it's red. And it's like, whoa, whoa. Time to stop, fellas. No more zooming around. You gotta pause for a little bit. But traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long line of cars. But
Yeah.
what is in front of those cars? There's gotta be a front car somewhere. And it stopped for some reason, but in front of that car, boom, nothing is there. So basically, there are multiple reasons why traffic can occur, right? The main reason is that the front car is not moving. I mean, that's the only reason, but there are many reasons why the front car wouldn't be moving. Because, an accident could happen. Something could have fallen onto the road. There could be, a tree on the road. Could have been, a storm, and the tree goes, I'm not doing this today. And you'd hear the sound because you would be in traffic. So trees do make sounds when they fall. That's not what this is about. Or there could have been a car crash and then you can't go around anywhere, so then that car stops and then the car behind has to stop and then the car behind. That's pretty much how it goes. Then there's this thing called a traffic wave, like a woo. That's what a wave is. We know that. So when a car starts to go slower, and there's so we know that cars stop, but also if the front car is going slowly,
We know that cars
then
stop.
other cars have to go slowly, and then eventually this is going to cause a little jam, your little jar that you have there as your knot cup, because maybe the car is going slow because it's trying to get onto a different road that's really busy.
Yeah.
Because that could happen. Or maybe it's slowing down because it's being a little bit cautious, that it doesn't want to go too speedy.
Being a little quirky.
You go too fast. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And basically, right, traffic is when a car is going too slow or not going at all, and then all the other cars behind it are like, oh no, we can't move now. That's traffic summed up. Also, fun fact, according to some study from 2007, apparently we can spend up to 2 weeks per year in traffic.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Now, I did the little calculations previously on my little calculation thing that I can't quite pick up right now because it's busy. And that's like 3 years. Like, if you were to live for 80 years of your life, that's like 3 years of your life just being stuck in traffic.
Do the calculations.
Now, that's assuming...
If you don't believe.
That's assuming that you're, like, going into a car, into a road, into traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because some people, they don't use cars a lot. Like, if you always use the train...
Yeah.
That's not really going to have traffic.
It can, though, if there's like an accident.
Maybe a little bit of traffic, but it's far less likely than a car. Yeah, so that's the end of my traffic talk. On to you, Remy.
Basically, okay. I'm talking about dying of natural causes. When I was a small child, sometimes on the news, they would say, this famous person that you've seen one movie of. They were probably in a movie as a grandparent in some child movie, and you saw them, and you know their face.
Mm-hmm.
They are now dead because of natural causes.
Right.
So I would say, oh man, this natural causes must be only for old people. That's too bad old people keep dying of natural causes. But I guess that's what happens when you get old.
Yeah.
This is incorrect. Small Remy was wrong. Someone else finds out that someone is dead.
Yes.
And they have the little sheet. They're like, this is when they died. And then there are these two boxes. There's manner of death and cause of death. You'd think natural causes would go under cause of death. Causes, that's the same word. This is incorrect.
That is.
Natural causes is the manner of death, which basically means that there's like a big section. I don't know, I'm doing squares. There's a big section, which is the manner of death, which is if it is an accident, natural causes, homicide, something like that. And then the cause of death is the more specific thing.
Yeah.
So if it's accident.
So like if it was like someone was killed, and there would be like, oh, they were stabbed. Like that's like it's like.
That's the cause of death.
But then they have what categories? They have categories so that they can shorten it down. So what exactly is natural causes as a category then? How do you die naturally?
It means that it wasn't an accident, basically. It means that it wasn't something else. Or it's something that occurs naturally in your body. Now, natural is a weird word, and I don't like it as a word. I don't like the word natural in total.
In this situation? Or like
in this situation, but also just in other things, because it just doesn't make sense. But in this cause, it's just something that can occur, something that your body can do, and it hurts you, but that you, like, nothing else affected it. Not nothing else. Like, it basically means that your heart stopped because your body was building up some kind of thing. Not because your heart stopped because you drank a Red Bull. You know? Yeah, your body does it to you. So, what's weird about this is that diseases and, like, things such as heart attacks, those kind of things, strokes, are classified as natural causes because your body did it to you. If you have a disease and it is eating away at your body and then it causes organ failure or something like that, the big manner of death is natural causes because your body did it to you. Your body made this happen. Yeah. And then specific would be like organ failure.
Why would they not have like a separate box for diseases? Like
it would make more sense if they did.
Guess when they didn't, if they don't know, if they can't see, like in the olden days when they didn't know how to be like, it's organ failure. Yeah. They were just like, I can't see a problem. Guess it died naturally. So I guess that's how the term came about. They just kind of stuck with it.
Probably came about from the olden days. So we could do a part 2 on this.
Yeah. I'm going to look at debt. I have a lot of questions. People can have debt. I could say, Remy, can I have $5? I'll pay you back. And she gives it to me and I take it. I'm like, great, I've got money now. I'm so rich. And then I go buy something and then I get some money and I'm like, here, Remy, you can have my money back. That's how it works, right? How do countries get into debt? Because according to this website, as of January 2018, the United States had a national debt of 25 trillion US dollars. Trillion. That's like a lot of zeros. That's 12 zeros. That's a lot of money. Where do they get that from? Many. Somebody's giving it to them, and they need to stop because they're in debt. They're not going to pay you back.
But if I knew someone and they were in debt 3 trillion, 5 trillion, 25 trillion, any kind of trillions, I wouldn't be giving them money.
I mean, once you kind of hit the thousands, even with your kind of money, you know, you're not going to be giving them anything. Okay. The United States, $25 trillion in debt. The UK, $2.5 trillion US dollars. I don't know, it was all in US dollars. China, 5.5 trillion. Japan, 12 trillion. So many trillions, so many zeros. So obviously, you think a country is in debt. They have borrowed money and they need to give it back. Where did they borrow it from? They must have borrowed it from other countries. Why are they giving it to them? Can they not just make more money? And now that's an issue, right? Because if you make money, and not as in like if you earn money, as in like, as like if you like print money, right?
Yeah.
If you're like, hey, we need money, let's go make money that didn't exist before, like poof it into existence. That's what they're doing, right? That's what I mean, right? If they do that, then there's more money everywhere. So people go, I have more money now, I'm going to go buy things. And then everybody wants to go buy things. So the price of things goes up because the value of money goes down. So to buy something, you have to spend more money. And sure, maybe you have more money, but sometimes you need to spend more than what you would used to be able to spend relative to like the value of what it was. A lot of the money that the government has comes from taxes, but sometimes government people, like if for example somebody wanted to get elected into the government to be like the head of the government, then they're not going to say, we're going to make your tax like 100% so that we can pay off our debts actually, because nobody's going to vote for you, you're not going to get in. So there's only so much like tax the government can make you pay. So the big question is like, who do they owe debt to? Because I'm like, it's a country.
What would happen if they just decided not to pay it? Because, right, if I owe money to someone, right, and then they come and they're like, hey, you owe me money, here's a receipt, like, I have proof that you owe me money. Yeah. They can go to the government and be like, you're avoiding paying me money.
Who does the government go to? If the government says to another government, you owe me money.
Who does the government go to? Who comes to the government to say, hey, look at all this money you owe people?
The other government. If they owe money to another country, but I don't know because they seem to have this.
They don't pay.
This seems to nobody's going to send the government to jail. Nobody's doing that because I suppose they've had this debt for a while now, and they're not giving it back. I mean, they're not giving the money back. I mean, I suppose they are. They're working towards it, but. What happens if they don't?
Are they working towards it?
That's a good question because lots of countries are just in debt. They're just in debt, but then they buy stuff, and it's fine.
It keeps going up.
The debt keeps going up. They're buying more things. They're like just vibing, you know.
There's no consequences.
So, exactly. So does it really matter if debt exists? I don't know. But anyway, my main thing I wanted to say was, right, where does the government get money from in the first place? Because who's giving the government money? Stop doing it. They are clearly, they need to fix the problem that they have. Don't give them more. It's going to add to their debt. But anyway, so obviously they get money from tax. They can get money from these things called bonds, which I'm like, what is a bond? What really is that? But basically, you lend money. So somebody lends you money, so they get that money straight away, but then eventually they have to give me money back.
But they have time to give you money back.
Yeah, but there's a third way. Third way. They get money from their own banks. They say, hey bank, knock, 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 we want some money right now. But the problem with that is, if they take the money from the bank, and people have put money into the bank, and they want money out of the bank, like let's say I gave a bond to the government, and I said, hey bank, I found these coins in my pocket that I didn't realize I forgot to give to the government. Have these 50 cents. You can have them. But I want them back eventually. So thanks for that. And they say, okay, thanks. And then the government goes, we only have $100 and we need $100.50, bank. Bank, can we have 50 cents? And the bank goes, okay, we'll give you 50 cents. And so the government goes, yes, so much money. And then you go to the bank one day and you're like, hey bank, I'd like my 50 cents back now, please. And they go, oops, we gave the 50 cents to the government. What are we gonna do? So then they just like go, we'll just make some more 50 cents. We'll make a little 50-cent coin. It's fine. Nobody's gonna know. And so then you get the money back, but then there's an extra 50 cents just floating around the world that wasn't there before. And if that happens with lots of money, then that can cause inflation, hyperinflation.
Maybe there's not enough money in the world to pay the debt.
Yeah. What if that's the tea? And also, what if some country was like, we're gonna make more money, and then they have extra money that like is worth nothing. But then some other country just like stuck to it and just tried to get money from somewhere else, so they have the same amount of money.
Yeah.
But it's worth more. But anyway, debt, like, really debt. just stop, honestly. And so I think that sums everything up pretty much. We've talked about bulletproof, bullet-resistant plastic, bulletproof glass, traffic, debt, and
dying of natural causes.
Dying of natural causes. What is that? So that's pretty much all we have to say. So now we would like to do a little show and tell. This week we had our prompts. We did something, we had a little prompt each day, a little sentence, a little word, a little idea, and we did something creative about it. So we'll share those with you. We'll each share a different one and show you what we made from that prompt. And if you want to do a little prompt too, you do a little prompt too, and you can send it to us. If you decide you want to make something out of these great ideas, you can get in touch with us, DM us on our Instagram, the Fishbowl Podcast, or email us. Oh, no, it's down there. That's our email. You can email us or you can DM us if you decide you want to make a little craft. We hope you do. We'd love to see it. Remy, would you like to start us off with what you did for your prompt?
I would love to.
Great.
My prompt that I had was something that's in a mug, but it isn't a liquid. Super cool and quirky. I came up with the prompt, not to brag, but it's a great prompt.
Oh.
And this is what I did. I first drew it's a little mug, and it's got a plant in it and a little dirt. And at first I drew a little sketch, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. I was maybe going to paint it, but then I decided to make them into earrings, so I drew it on little shrinking paper, and then I'll hole punch it.
Very cute.
Heat it up in the oven, and then make earrings.
How do you make earrings out of a doodle?
You get this special plastic, you draw on it, and then you put it in the oven, and it melts.
You can't just like make a little doodle on a piece of paper and pop it in the oven.
No, that's
not
don't
do that. That's a fire hazard, so we're just warning you, putting a warning out there. Don't try this at home unless you have the special materials.
Don't do it.
It's not paper. My little thing that I did, I decided I would do a little collage, scrapbooky vibe, with magazine cutouts and like cool paper and stickers and stuff. I'll just grab it. So my prompt was bird who is lady. I took it quite literally, but you can do whatever you want with it, you know. Here it is.
So cute.
Big round of applause, please. Clap, clap for me. Clap, clap. Thank you. So yeah, basically I took magazine things of like ladies just vibing, standing up, sitting down, whatever. And I took these bird heads and I popped them on to make kind of like a little scenario, a collage with a message. That's what I like to call it. So basically it's about social life, you know, when there's like a group of people and like the outcast, when there's a group of people and they're hanging out and then there's another person like, I'm all alone, I'm by myself. So in this scenario, we have the queen bird lady, and she's like, oh, my lovely little bird people. She's like, oh, you'll never walk alone. Because like they're part of a group, they hang out, they support each other, they're loyal, they're friendly. And this bird person's like, promise? And she's like, yeah. I mean, it doesn't say it literally, but obviously you can take that as she's like, yeah, I do promise, because you wouldn't just leave the bird lady hanging like that. So they're having a little get together, and this one over here is an owl, and so she's like, oh,
different.
I'm all alone. They don't want to hang with me, so sad. And these words here, they say, lovely things inside, believe you are enough. So she's kind of like having to up herself up. She's having to like feel like you can do this, whereas for them, they can listen to her and be like, thanks. And I put in this little globe here because I thought it looked really cute. I was like, that's a cute globe, I like it. And so I popped it in. And you know when you do that thing, right, when you're like, I'm going to put this in here because I think it looks cool and I like it. And then afterwards you go, that means something, you know?
Metaphors, they popping up all over.
Yeah. And maybe you realized it subconsciously, or maybe you were just like, afterwards you're like, I'm going to do, like, the curtains are blue because she's sad kind of thing, you know? And then you do that. And look here, it's like a symbol. It's like showing how she feels like she's worlds away, right? But then I also noticed, Remy noticed, this gal is turned away. She can't even see her. So maybe the whole thing is that
she's not even being excluded.
This owl gal isn't even being excluded. She just isn't being noticed because she didn't try and hang out with them, and they like are not noticing her. So maybe they're not trying to be like, you can't hang with us because you're an owl. Maybe she's just like, I'm an owl, so they won't let me hang out with them. But really, they didn't see her. But anyway,
yeah,
that's a little bit overanalyzing a little cute collage I made. Hopefully, you're still here listening to us, and hopefully you enjoyed. So I guess with that, we'll bid you adieu. And please join us next time when we make a little video.
And bring your own knot cup.
Knot cup?